Now that we can work with both maps and the user location, we're going to put the two together and we're going to have a simple app that shows a full screen map which displays the user's location in the center and updates as the user's location updates. I'm actually going to set this as a challenge because there's nothing new here. We're just combining what we've learned in the previous video and then the ones before that. So you know what you need to do. I'd start with a brand new project and then display the map, add the geolocation commands, and then update the map as you go. Good luck. Okay, I hope you managed to put everything together. I'm obviously going to start with a new project. Location and map demo. In fact, I'll just call it location map demo just in case that and symbol causes any issues. And because we're using maps, I'm going to go down to API 21 and Google Maps activity. All right, so I'm going to set up the map first and then do the location stuff afterwards. So as before, the first thing we're going to do is create a Google Maps API key for our app. So I'll just paste that into my browser. And then create a new project. It'll take a couple of moments. There we go. So I'm going to go to Credentials, Create, and then copy the API key. Lovely. Then back over to Android Studio and paste that directly in there. Now I'll just confirm that my layout is all set up correctly, but I'm pretty sure it will be because everything is there by default anyway. So there's my fragment, which is where my map is going to go. So we've got all our default code here. So all I really need to do is get rid of the comments and then run the app just to make sure that everything is in place. And I'm actually going to close down the other emulator. My system doesn't really like it if I have two emulators going at once. And here we go. I'm going to make sure I select API 21 with Google Play. And we'll use that device for further launches. And there we go. There's our map up and running. By the way, just to add, if you run the app when the emulator's not running, you might well find that then it launches the emulator but the app doesn't run, and then you need to come back and run it again. If you do find that, it's nothing strange. I've been doing that this whole course. I suspect just a bug in Android Studio. If you've got a way of fixing it, please do post in the comments. All right, we've got our map. Now time to get our location. So the first thing to just notice is if we look in the manifest, it actually already has the permissions that we need here. Whoops. Because if you've got a map, you probably want the user's location, so they're already in there by default. We don't need to add those. So let's start at the top. So maps activity already extends fragment activity because maps is a fragment. So we just need to add our second activity that we want to, our second class, sorry, to that list. And remember, it was location listener that we want to add. Then let's implement those methods, all four. Lovely. Then let's create the two variables that we'll know we'll need. First of all, location manager, and then provider. Then the code that we're going to use is pretty much identical to what we had before. So we'll start by setting up our location manager. Whoops, small l. So we're going to cast it to a location manager, and we're going to get it from a system service, and we get that from the context and location service. There we go. Then we'll create our provider, and we'll get that from location manager dot get best provider, and we'll create a new criteria for that, which is just going to be empty and false as before for only return enabled providers. And now this time I'm going to be lazy and not include the if location is not null code, because we don't really need it. We're now confident that our code is going to work, and we don't need a test to see if it does. In a production app, of course, it would be useful to say whether the user has a location service enabled or not, but I don't think we need that here. Okay, so now on location changed, we're going to need the latitude and longitude again. So double lat location dot get latitude, and double lung is location dot get longitude. And for now, I think before we integrate it with the maps, I just want to make sure that everything is working. So log we'll just log the latitude. Like that. And finally, we'll add our on pause. To instruct our app to stop getting the location. So location manager dot remove updates. And then this for the context. And then on resume is actually already defined up here somewhere. There it is, because it's used to set up the map. So we'll just add our code to restart the location manager request location updates, and we'll do that using our provider, whatever that is, 400 milliseconds, 1 meter, and this. There we go. So let's now run that again, and we'll need to get our yes, I've confused extends and implements there. Fortunately, Android Studio is very clever and knows exactly what I've done, and it says change extends that to implements that. Perfect. Very handy. So as I was saying, we'll need to get our console up to be able to change the location to make sure that everything is working okay. So I'll telnet into our device. I'm not certain it picked that up. I think I'll run it again just in case. And there we go. So I'm now connected. So I'll just update the location. Let's change it to 1.1. And we should see that reflected in the logs. So here we go. I'm just going to telnet into my emulator again, and then do a quick update. Update to 7.7, and there we go. Brilliant. The latitude is being updated in the logs. Wonderful. So all we need to do is change our code in onLocationChanged to add a marker and recenter the app over the user's location. So should be pretty straightforward, right? I'm going to actually just cut that and put it there because we don't need that initial marker. And the latitude is now lat The longitude is Lung, and the title is your location. There we go. And then we use the camera, remember? So we animate the camera, and then we use camera update factory, and we'll set a couple of things. So first of all, new lat lung zoom. Actually, that's all we're gonna need, because it does everything in one go. And we can actually copy this instruction to create a new we can just copy this instruction to create a new lat lung. And then we just need a zoom level. Let's go for 12. And that's it. One thing that we might want to do is remove the marker that was there before when the location changes. And that's pretty easy to do. We just use mmap.clear. And that will clear any markers that were previously on the map. All right then, so that should do it. We should now have a map that updates automatically with the user's location. Okay, here we go. So over to terminal. Let's try geofix 2020. And there we go. In the middle of the desert somewhere by the looks of it. So geofix 8080 in the middle of the sea. Wonderful. So of course you can try that out with some more interesting locations than desert and sea. You can get those from Google Maps, but that is the basic app working as we wanted it to. The only thing that I'd like to is make sure that it updates at the beginning, well as when the location is updated. And to do that, we'll do the same thing we did before. So in the onCreate method, we'll create a location variable, which will be location manager.get last known location. Oops, sorry, that should be provider. And then just a quick check. If location is not null, then I'm just going to call the onLocationChanged method using the location we've just got. So let's just run that. And we should find that it jumps straight to this wonderful C location rather than our initial 00 location. So here we go. And there it is. Wonderful. So now we have our map app that tracks the user and displays their current location on a map. We're now going to move away from maps for a moment, make an app that displays all the information that we can get about a user from their location, not just their latitude and longitude. We'll do that in the next lecture. I'll see you there.